Hi everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. In this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about our loading process and firing process. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment, DM us on Instagram at Wilkinson Pottery, or go to our website, www.currywilkinsonpottery.com. Thank you. This is how we get our pots from the workshop to the kiln. We carry them down on these large 6-foot boards, bring them into the kiln, set them on sawhorses, and begin to load. My friend Danny here is helping me roll some wads that we put on the bottom of each pot that goes into the kiln. At least 3 of these wads has to be applied to each pot, sometimes more. These pieces with lids have to have the wads placed in between the gallery and the lid. This ensures that the lid does not fuse to the rest of the pot during the firing. Here's an example of applying wads to the gallery of the small jar and then to the bottom of the same jar. Once these wads are all applied, then I take the piece, set it on the shelf, press it down to ensure that it's nice and level and secure, and then apply the lid to the top of the pot. Here, my friend Bob is helping me put a shelf on top of the kiln post that we just set. This is how we stack shelves inside of the kiln from the very back to the front. We start out with 6 kiln posts at the bottom of the stack of shelves, and then set 3 shelves on top of those 6 posts and build up each layer just like this, setting posts, then setting wad clay underneath the posts to help level and steady them, and then move up with the shelves. After I put each shelf down, I level it and make sure that the posts are level to ensure that the stack of pottery stays up during the firing. After they are secure and level, then I stack the pots on top of the shelves, and we go up and up until there's no more room to stack pots. It is important to block up the kiln as much as possible before the firing. This ensures that you get even heating throughout the kiln and that the kiln will hold heat. It's important to have a large amount of thermal mass inside of the kiln. Here again, just another example of me applying the wads to the bottom of the pot. And then again, placing the pot on the top of the stack, pressing it down and making sure that it's nice and securely onto the shelf. Once the pot is secure, then place the lid on the top of the pot and then carefully load the next piece. This is the final view of the inside of the kiln that we will see before the kiln door is bricked up and then mortared from the outside to make sure that no air escapes or heat escapes. From here, every piece is on its own journey through the firing cycle of the kiln. It is now up to the kiln to decide the final decoration, dynamic features, and luster of each piece. We will be adding wood for the next 36 to 40 hours. Here in the early stages of the firing, it's pretty much easy going. We go up about 50 degrees an hour, and here we're just slowly adding wood to increase the temperature. We don't want any big swings in temperature, just easy, steady increases every hour. We are so thankful to have a very supportive group of family and friends that will come out and help with our firing after every cycle. Many thanks to my parents, Sarah's parents, friends and fellow potters, Bob, Danny, and Sean, and also Stillman. Thanks, Stillman, for doing the graveyard shift. We really could not do it without all of you. Now is where the real fun begins. We start getting up to top temperature on the second day of the firing. This is in the morning, probably around 6 o'clock or so, and we're probably around 2100 degrees or so, starting to really get some cone movement in the very, very front of the kiln. At this point in the firing, it is so hot up front that we put in these giant bundles of slabs and they instantly explode when they hit the heat. Here, I'm just taking a look inside of the kiln just to see if we have glazes melting in the front, see if I can see any cone movement with the cones in the front. Again, it takes loads of wood to fire this kiln for 36 to 40 hours. Again, here you can just see putting the wood in the front of the kiln, it just completely explodes once it hits that flame. As it starts to get hotter and hotter in the front, and we start to get to that cone 12 temperature, then we start to move the flame to the back of the kiln. It's probably pretty obvious, but because this fire is so hot, it's imperative to wear protective gear. We wear welding gloves, welding mask and face shield, and then a bib and long sleeves and long pants. When that door is open, even if you're feet away, you can still feel it start to burn your arms or underneath your chin. Here, like I was talking about before, is video of Bob stoking the back of the kiln, trying to get that heat to the very back. We could have 2350 degrees in the front, and then all the way in the back only have about 21 to 2200 degrees. It's very important to even out the front to the back so that we get even heating among all of the pots. Here I am stoking the other side down the side of the kiln to heat up our second stack of pots. What we do here is we'll start from the front, and then I'll go to the first hole on the side of the kiln and start to move the heat to the second stack of pots. And then Bob goes on his side, and back we go until we evenly heat the rest of the kiln. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section. You can find us at Curry Wilkinson Pottery on Instagram, Curry Wilkinson Pottery on Facebook, and also currywilkinsonpottery.com, where you can sign up for our newsletter to get the first look at our pottery videos, upcoming kiln openings, and events. Thank you so much.